Maggie Driscoll has already taken a life to defend the people she loves, but now her own family is beginning to turn against her. When child predator Megan Walsh returns to Coronation Street and threatens Maggie's grandson once again, the Rover's landlady may become more dangerous than ever now that she feels she has nothing left to lose. During the dramatic Murder Week storyline, abusive Theo Silverton met a deadly end, but Maggie herself narrowly escaped death on the cobbles. Following a heated confrontation with Megan that was interrupted by a distressed and conflicted Will Driscoll, Maggie was later found unconscious on the ground by two young girls. However, it seems far more than a brutal fall is needed to bring down the sharp-tongued queen of the Rover's return. Maggie survived the terrifying incident after suffering a heart attack, a development that spells disaster for Megan. Megan had secretly groomed Will into an illegal relationship while staying under Maggie's roof. When police failed to gather enough evidence to charge her, Maggie decided to take matters into her own hands and attempted to force a confession from the manipulative predator. But when Megan refused to admit the truth, Maggie snapped and shoved her during the confrontation. Megan later used the incident to deceive Will into believing Maggie had caused her miscarriage, despite the fact she had secretly terminated the pregnancy herself. The devastating truth came crashing down on Will when he interrupted Maggie and Megan's explosive showdown on the balcony, leaving the troubled teenager emotionally shattered and more confused than ever. With Will struggling to cope, the Driscoll family desperately needed to stay united, but that already seemed impossible. Maggie's relationship with her son Ben had been falling apart ever since he discovered she had lied to him his entire life about his real father being Corrie legend Jim McDonald. While Maggie recovered from her heart attack, Ben reluctantly kept the peace for Will's sake and allowed his mother a temporary reprieve. But the fragile truce quickly collapsed when Will's mother Melanie learned that her son had been groomed by an athletics coach while living under Maggie's roof. Furious and heartbroken, Melanie decided she wanted to take Will away to Scotland and pressured Maggie into helping convince Ben, threatening to reveal the horrifying truth that Maggie had once killed Ben's adoptive father Allan by pushing him down the stairs. Eventually, unable to keep the secret buried any longer, Maggie confessed everything to Ben last Thursday. Ben was devastated by the revelation, and despite Maggie insisting Allan's death had been a tragic accident, he threw her out of both the family and the pub. Then came the one piece of news that could make the nightmare even worse: Megan's release. Before Megan's arrest, Will had planned to run away with her to Paris, completely unaware that she never intended to bring him along and had only purchased a single ticket for herself. After a heartfelt conversation with Tim Metcalf, who understood the trauma of being groomed by someone trusted, Will finally realized the truth and reported Megan to the police. But Megan's time behind bars does not last long. Upcoming Coronation Street scenes reveal the twisted abuser is released on bail just as Maggie reaches her emotional breaking point. Her return leaves everyone terrified about what she wants next: revenge or another chance to manipulate Will. When Ben receives a call informing him that Megan has been freed, he is furious. Tensions rise even further during a family lunch when Maggie unexpectedly arrives after being invited by Ollie, much to Ben's annoyance. The atmosphere around the table becomes unbearable until Ben finally reveals to Will that Megan is out on bail. Horrified, Maggie promises Will she will protect him no matter what happens. But Ben suddenly loses control and shocks Ollie and Will with a devastating revelation. Has Ben exposed Maggie's deadly secret? And if he has, what will Maggie do next? Maggie has struggled for months to keep her violent temper under control, but she has always been willing to do anything to defend her family. Now, with the people she loves pushing her away, the most feared landlady in Weatherfield may be more dangerous than ever before. Fans of Coronation Street believe they may have uncovered Megan Walsh's hidden link to Weatherfield, with many now predicting a dramatic paternity revelation. Viewers will remember that Megan first arrived on the cobbles after Will Driscoll complained about having to leave behind his athletics training when his father, Ben Driscoll, unexpectedly relocated from Hull to Weatherfield with partner Eva Price to take over the Rovers' return. However, it soon became clear that Will's real reason for not wanting to move had nothing to do with athletics. Instead, it was revealed that he had secretly been involved in a relationship with Megan. The pair later slept together shortly after Will turned 16, before Megan eventually claimed she was expecting his baby. Back in March, the truth seemed close to being exposed after Sam Blakeman discovered what was happening. Megan, who was pregnant at the time, pressured and threatened Sam into staying silent. After later ending up in hospital, Sam finally admitted everything he knew to Leanne Battersby and Eva Price, who is Will's stepmother. Even after the truth surfaced, Megan initially appeared to avoid consequences. She and Will continued insisting that Will had developed an obsessive crush on her and that she had tried to stop it. With no evidence available to prove the relationship, Megan also falsely claimed she had suffered a miscarriage when she had actually undergone an abortion. This week, viewers finally saw Will confess the truth about his relationship with Megan to the police. DS Lisa Connor Swain later charged Megan following questioning. It has since been revealed that Megan has pleaded not guilty to the accusations against her, meaning the case is now set to go to trial. As the grooming storyline continues, fans are now convinced Megan may have another secret connection to Weatherfield involving Tim Metcalf and his former abuser, Tricia Marlowe. One fan questioned online whether Megan could actually turn out to be Tim's daughter, while others suggested she may have been born from Tim's own abusive relationship with Tricia years ago. Several viewers also pointed out a supposed resemblance between Megan and Tricia, adding more fuel to the theory. Ever since the shocking revelation about Megan grooming Will came to light, Tim has started recognizing similarities with his own traumatic past. This week, after helping Will, Tim attempted to contact Tricia to finally confront her about what happened when he was younger, although he struggled to reach her. Eventually, Tim tracked Tricia down at Freshgos where she works and waited for her to arrive. He approached her and asked to talk, and once they sat together in his cab, Tricia mistakenly believed he was flirting with her. Instead, Tim firmly told her that he had only recently realized what she did to him as a child was completely wrong. Tricia attempted to blame Tim for the situation, but he reminded her that he had only been 14 years old at the time and that she should never have been involved with someone so young. Tim insisted their relationship had been abusive and should never have happened. Tricia appeared stunned by the accusation and refused to accept responsibility, claiming she would not take the blame for any mistakes Tim had made after their relationship. She then quickly walked away and returned to work. Coronation Street airs on weekday evenings on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX.